morning. Welcome back. Bustin' Bethunes. Kyle here. Bustin' Bethunes. Kind of got that a little backwards there. But yeah, guys, been a few days. Took about a week off from filming. Kind of got settled here into Central Florida and did the whole Thanksgiving thing. And I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We did. We had a really nice time. But unfortunately, I have to start working on this bus. Not going to beat around the bush. Not excited about it. Not happy about it. But unfortunately, that's what I get to do. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do this video. That's what we're going to do today. We are going to pull out here. We're going to go. I'm renting a trailer. I'm headed to IKEA, and I'll talk a little bit more about it once I get there. But I have no other means of really hauling anything of decent size. So I do got to rent a trailer. 24 bucks at U-Haul, one right down the road. So not a big deal. Anyways, I'm going to stop jabbering. Beautiful day here in Central Florida. Beautiful morning. And nonetheless, we got to get to work and make this thing happen. So, and you guys are going to join me, as always. So let's get rolling. All right, we did make it south to IKEA here in Tampa. You have the toll road there just off of, right outside of Ybor City here in Tampa. It's the first IKEA I ever went to many, many years ago. But anyway, the reason we're here is I've got to replace the countertop. I'm not looking forward to it. I hate it, actually. I'll get more into that when we get back to the bus, and kind of that way I can show you. But to match what we currently have on the other side of the bar and then the little desk area, that countertop came from IKEA. So that is why we are here, unfortunately.
I think you're right. Like,
It seems
it's a little wide.
I do like it. I don't mind the idea. I don't know, what do you think of ceramic though with the bus?
I mean, I think it'll be fine.
But it does seem very long.
Yeah. And so I feel
Because
like,
you got to remember, you're going to need room for your faucet too.
yeah,
So that's got to go like in here. So that's a pretty big.
that's a lot bigger than what I think we need. A lot.
Yeah. So yeah, let's just get the countertop, and I think we'll deal with a sink at Home Depot or something. Because, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't love these things.
No. I mean, it's a good price, but.
Yeah, they're not something that like I have to. I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta have that. Plus, we need to measure the distance of the countertop.
Holy math. Like,
Hmm?
did you actually not know that?
I thought I didn't. Well, like this one. How'd they get this one for?
You already know, but you're just gonna be annoying.
You'd rather have that? They have ice cream down below. You'd rather have ice cream, or you'd rather have this? Go for it. And what trip to IKEA would be complete without a trip to the cafe? We've been bringing the kids here since they were getting the little high chairs. It was kind of at one point in our life a cheap date, but it's not quite as cheap anymore as it once was. So it looks like our order is ready. So they send you a text when you get it, and you go down below and they pull it for you. I guess because it's so big, they don't want to risk people trying to pull it through the store.
Order. Your number is 1166 on the top right there. I'll call that out when it's done.
Cool.
And there'll be a wait time on that TV.
All right, thank you. Renting these little trailers is super convenient. I learned it last winter when we were in Quartzsite, Arizona. It's like 25 bucks a day. I believe it's like a 5x9 little utility trailer. For 25 bucks, it did what I needed to do, you know, and I don't have to worry about toting the trailer around. It's just nice and convenient whenever I do need to haul something, you know, just a little bigger than the Jeep can handle.
I can breathe. You're holding my
That mug ain't going nowhere. It was nice to have my brother Steven's help. For a lot of you that don't know, he pretty much helped me build my entire first bus, so it was good to have him around again. I went ahead and brought the countertop back, so what I'm going to do now is take the U-Haul back. I believe it was a 6-hour rental, and it's right by Home Depot, so I'm going to take that back, and we'll go to Home Depot and hopefully find us a sink. I don't know. Man, crap's expensive. That Home Depot trip was an utter waste of time. Oh man, what a mess. So we go in there. They have like 3 sinks in stock, none of which will work for us. And they're all like $300 plus. So yeah, that's not gonna work. So we left there, went across the street to Lowe's. Slightly bigger selection. Price still ridiculously stupid. So I did something I really didn't want to do. We decided just to order a sink and faucet on Amazon. I did go with a name brand faucet. I went with a Delta faucet. I don't know, after dealing with that last one leaking, I don't know. I paid, I think this was $200, which was quite a bit. Sink, I'll open it here in a few minutes, but the other thing about this sink compared to the one I have is it's not proprietary to any specific faucet, so I'm able to use any faucet I want with this sink. So and then we got the countertop, of course. So let me go show you, I never have actually shown you guys why I'm replacing the countertop. Yeah, that thing was 400, after tax, it was 450 bucks. Like and we bought one last, I don't know if you've been watching for a while, last January, and it was not 450 bucks. It's more, I guess it's the tariffs and all that stuff, because I guess they're a Swedish company, and I'm assuming most of their crap comes from China or wherever. And tariffs have been attached, so anyway, a lot more expensive. But I'll show you why I'm replacing the countertop. Look at them, lazy puppies. Lazy, lazy puppies. Anyway, so this sink came from Amazon. This faucet, it fits down in here. So you can't just put a regular faucet on it. And this basically has leak. Look at this thing, it's just a piece of crap. Like, if the whole thing just wobbles. Piece of crap. So I had the cutout for this countertop is specific for this hole in this sink, and I was not able to find a universal or another drop-in that was this size that would work. So essentially, I'm getting to replace this countertop. Got to cut the hole for the sink, new sink, hole for the cooktop, and there it is trimmed in the back a little bit for this backsplash area that, well, what's to be a backsplash area. Anyway, so my plan is disassemble this, take it out there to my other countertop, and kind of trace out what he had done here. That way it's just kind of carbon copy it, replace it right where it was. Take it back out. Yeah, I can also cut the hole out for this, the same. This, and then I can bring it in here. We can bring the sink in and kind of play with it a little bit. Mark it off and cut it. I don't want to do any of this. I really don't. I'm having the hardest time finding motivation to do this. I just don't want to do it. I just flat ass don't want to do it. But I got to. When we picked the bus up, just actually almost a year ago exactly, there's no way I could have known the mental struggle I would have with working on this thing. I knew I was picking up an unfinished bus. That much I knew. We all knew. But I never could have predicted how difficult mentally it would be for me to work on this thing. Every time I go to work on it, I just don't want to do it. It's so difficult for me to find the motivation to do it. Even once I start, usually a project I don't want to do, once I start, I usually kind of fall into it and get into a groove. This bus here, it's been a roadblock for me. I think it's just so mentally draining for me, the memory of it, having to, I don't know. I don't really have the answer, but it has been a challenge. Every single screw I've had to put into this bus and everything I've had to build and fabricate, it's just been such a drag. And I hate that. But ultimately, I have to build it. I don't have another option if we want to live in a finished bus anytime in the foreseeable future. It's going to have to come by mine and Jen's hands, because that's just where we're at. And I don't want to sound ungrateful and all that, but that's just the truth of where I am. I'm grateful to be on my family's property and have space to work on it, have amazing weather. The weather this week was incredible. It was like picturesque 70-degree days. Couldn't have asked for better. And also the help from my brother. It's always nice to have another skilled set of hands when you're working on something like this. One thing I did realize when I got here and started tearing out all my tools, I left a lot of essential things in New Mexico that I really could have used on these projects. Like I have some different straight edges for cutting with my skill saw. And unfortunately, I left a lot of that stuff in New Mexico, so I'm kind of having to make do with what I got right now. Well, I was able to make my dimensional cuts. I basically cut it to the same size as the old one. At this point, we're going to go ahead and cut out my cooktop portion. Then I'll unbox my sink, kind of lay it out, try to figure out how we want to lay it out. Thinking I may take my skill saw there, that way I can cut some straight line. I mean, it really doesn't matter. I mean, it's going to sit down in here, and there's like a flange that hangs over the side of the cooktop to cover all that up. But nonetheless, I think I may try to do that. That way I can get a closest cut I can get. Yeah, I think it's coming along pretty good. Just as an FYI, the skill saw was not the tool for cutting out this cooktop. It worked at first, and then I eventually said screw it and got my jigsaw and cut it out the correct way. Note to self, don't use the skill saw for cutting in the middle of a countertop. I'm going to put this out there for any of you who never may encounter building a countertop, not really building a countertop, but fitting a countertop with a sink. Look up a video on YouTube how to do it, because I could not have done it more wrong. So what I'm doing now is I'm measuring the base, not really measuring, I'm marking off the base of the sink with a marker. I've got it centered. I made my center point where you can see the drain is. It's probably hard to see in the video, but there's a round circle in there. But the base of the sink and the top of the sink are very different dimensions. So it kind of tapers off to outwards, I guess would be the right way to say it, as you go more toward the top. So basically I cut this initial hole out and it was nowhere near big enough. So I didn't really know how to mark it any other way. So I ended up, again, I recorded this that way. It made me look kind of good, but I ended up having to probably make 10 cuts to trim around here to be able to get this sink. It took me far longer than I'm willing to admit to actually get this sink to fit in this hole. Another quick disclaimer, the wood or whatever material they used to build this countertop was extremely hard to cut. I went through probably 3 different jigsaw blades just to cut out those 2 holes. Man, that stuff was slow to cut. This countertop was substantially heavier than it looks. I probably took the thing in and out of the bus a total of 4 or 5 times, pretty much by myself. Jen helped me once get it out the door, but I was feeling a sore back for about the next 5 days. It was brutal. And little did I know when I was getting into this portion, I thought I was really cruising. Like, oh, I'm going to throw this on there. I'm going to hook the plumbing up, and we're going to have water here in a matter of no time. Little did I know 4 days later I would still be fighting this freaking countertop. But man, it was, I didn't film it in a way that it showed the challenges. But trust me when I say, this little project kicked my butt. One thing I wanted to make sure of this time installing this sink, that it was really going to be stuck down there. So I was able to luckily have the time to silicone it, put some weight on it, and let it sit, which is something I wasn't able to do in the desert, because this was literally our first water source. We had no source of water when we got this bus to the desert. So getting the sink in was the absolute first thing we did, and we had to use it right away because we're in the middle of the desert with no water. Living in a half-finished bus for the past year, it's been very eye-opening. It's amazing to me as humans how adaptable we are to our environment. This is what we were given. And at first it was really challenging. A lot of you don't know, like, we've had no lights pretty much in most of the bus. So we've just had to get creative. And it's amazing how we've adapted to the space, or at least I guess I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure Jen would be on board with that too. We have just learned to live in the space, to be grateful for the space that we have, you know, and I think that was been part of, you know, my mental journey over the last year, is learning to be content where I am and with what I have. And that's been a game changer for me, is finding contentment in this moment with the situation, no matter what it is, good or bad. That's been a challenge for me, but it's been something I've worked really hard on and has brought me a really long way. This is the part of the project where it was really getting challenging, where I would think I was almost done, and then boom, something slapped me right in the face, and yeah, you gotta do this now, you gotta do this now. So luckily Jen was there to help me and kind of keep me sane through some of these times, because I was getting so frustrated. Again, it all stems back to me not wanting to do it, and then the fact that I'm kind of on a time crunch, and as usual, and also just needing the water. You know, we had no water in the bus for like 5 days. Not in the bus, at least in the kitchen. We had our bathroom sink, which thank God we had that. Guys, I am still, a week later, working on this freaking countertop. It is, either I have lost what little touch I had, or this thing is just haunting me. Anyway, my last thing, I hooked everything up. I had to really do, I'll show you the drain system I had to do. I had to go to Lowe's a couple times. Made that work, was working great. Nothing was leaking. I let it run for about 5 minutes, and then it started leaking right around the drain where it comes out of the sink and the initial part of the drain. Somehow my boneheaded ASS cross-threaded this large nut here. I don't know how I did it. I thought I was careful. It didn't feel cross-threaded going on there. Nonetheless, it cross-threaded on there. I spent half the day yesterday trying to get that nut off, because sure, obviously, when this, you want to spin it when it's tight or when it's cross-threaded. If you ever cross-threaded a nut before, basically it's super tight and you can't really loosen it, and this thing just spins with it. And I tried for like hours to get this thing off. Everything I could think of. I even went to Lowe's, bought a specialty tool to do it. Still couldn't get it off. So I ended up ordering another drain. I'm about to go in there now. I bought me even a new little rotary saw. I've got to cut this nut off. I don't care if I mess up the drain, because I probably will. I just don't want to mess up the sink. And I was pretty much did everything I could do yesterday without trying to mess up the sink. Because if I mess up the sink, I really screwed up. This was $20. I can replace this. So I got to go in there. Here, let me just go show you. Maybe you can tell from this angle, there's a little gap right there, and there's not there. So this is what's cross-threaded on. I have fault this thing and fault this thing. I even got the biggest, massive, up next to my head. Like, these are massive pliers. I still couldn't get it off. So my goal now is, or at least my plan now, is to cut it off, remove that, drop this replacement in, carefully thread it on and tighten it up. So there is the drain system I had to do. I did a P-trap out of so I had to, because this tank is here, so I had to get a quick cut to the right. So I did a P-trap there. I had to cut it there. I put a coupling there, and I ended up getting a 90-degree and another piece of pipe there to run down to my drain. It works great. No leakage there. No leakage in my valves or anything back there for my water. This right here is what would leak. So let's hopefully, for the very last time, get this thing fixed. I've had these little rotary tools before, and they were garbage. So when I knew I this was going to be the tool for the job. So I went on Amazon and found this one here. Let me tell you guys, this thing worked fantastic. I'll actually link it down in the description below. I believe it was 40 bucks. Not really sure the brand, but it came with so many different, attachments, and yeah, great purchase right there. As you can see, it knocked the job out with ease. So that was good. A lot of them before that I've had were underpowered, but this went relatively simple. It cut it out, and I was able to get the thing out. I ended up having to go grab some plumber's putty. I put that under the top portion of the drain. The instructions on the new drain recommended that I use plumber's putty, and I'm glad I did. I probably should have done that on the first one, but I honestly didn't know. I'm a plumbing idiot. Final FYI, I promise, I hate caulking. Well, we are put back together. It is all caulked. It is bolted down. Water is running. I don't think I have any leaks at the moment. Oh my God. I swear, guys, this thing, holy smokes. But it appears, at least for the moment, to be tidy and dry. Well, guys, that was a project that took a lot longer than I think it should have. Substantially longer than it should have. Man, it was just problem after problem after problem. I've literally been working on this thing for like 5 or 6 days. Just wasn't working out. Man, I'm glad it's done. What we're gonna do is it's the evening time, so we're just gonna let it dry overnight. Try to let everything dry, and tomorrow hopefully we'll be up and running. I do want to show you guys something real quick. So this old bus right here is for sale. It's my brother RV Steve Travels. Some of you know who he is. Yeah, it's a 19, I could be wrong. A little on the detail, is a 1965 GM 4106. Has a 6V71 Detroit diesel 4-speed manual transmission. If you're interested or know anyone interested, it is for sale. He wants $15,000 for it. If you're interested, shoot me a comment below and I will put you in contact with him, and I know he is ready to sell it. So if you are interested, definitely reach out and I will put you in contact with him. It does have a bit of solar on it, because a couple batteries inside, a couple of Victron components, so not a bad it is complete. It's very dated on the inside, but to the right person it would make a good coach. It is drivable. You could pull up and drive it home with you. But guys, I think that's gonna wrap us up. Got a nice little sunset there in the background, and that is that's where I'm gonna leave you for today. As a lot of you know, I didn't post a video on Wednesday. I'm not saying I'm not going to post on Wednesdays, but just this project, I've been filming and working for like 5 or 6 days on this thing, and it just has not worked out. So I'm finishing this up like 12 hours before this video comes out. So it's been that kind of week, but nonetheless, appreciate you guys sticking around for it. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you again in a few days. Like always, guys, take care of yourselves and each other.